Hi, my name is Margaret Allen. Today I will be discussing my research paper done on communication and information management in construction. The amount of information available to construction project teams increases with new technology, advanced design techniques, and product innovations. Increasingly, the percentage of time spent by construction managers is spent managing the flow of information between project participants. As you can see from this organizational chart, the project manager typically requires information from, and therefore communicates with, every person involved on a project, from the owner, designers, and engineers to subcontractors, government officials, and his own employees. Understanding how information is exchanged and processed among project participants, both informally and formally, is key to the success of construction managers and ultimately construction projects. Previously compiled data found that nearly half of the information obtained by construction managers is through verbal communication. However, perhaps due to the difficult nature of scientifically studying social and cultural aspects in construction projects, previous research has mainly concentrated on the technological means of communication. For example, building information modeling, information management frameworks, and storage technology. This research seeks to identify the informal communication affecting information flow and integration in complex construction projects. The construction industry is often considered to have a culture of conflict, when in fact little research has been done to determine the cultures of the industry. This culture of conflict is rooted in a lack of understanding of how information flows between project participants. These conflicts occur at the interface level in one respect because participants have different objectives and different organizational cultures which define their approach to work and relationship with other project participants. At the basis of all interface level interactions is communication. Communication is a process by which participants convey information in an attempt to create a shared understanding. It is a process of transferring information from one source to another. Communication is commonly defined as the imparting or interchange of thoughts, opinions, or information by speech, writing, or signs. Communication is intrinsically collaborative. Project team members come with many types of expertise and multidisciplinary backgrounds. Previous research efforts revealed that interface management related problems account for up to 20% of project cost. The efficient flow of information between these project team members, for example, owners, designers, contractors, subcontractors, and consultants, is paramount to the success of the project. You can see in this chart the distribution of communication between the construction manager and other project participants. The largest amount of communication is between the manager and designers and engineers. These groups come from very different backgrounds and cultures, making communication difficult. Understanding these differences and how they can work better together is a crucial step in communication research. There are two forms of communication in construction projects. Formal communication is written or drawn, such as fax, letters, emails, blueprints, and specifications. And informal communication is verbal, face-to-face, or by electronic means. It has been shown that 48% of communication by construction managers was informal. Therefore, the role of information communications in construction projects is crucial to the effectiveness of construction. The nature of construction does not lend itself to minute advanced planning. Often, design is still being completed during construction, and many decisions are made during the course of the project. These decisions are often made by a project team member that is typically different from the person performing the work. This requires an immense amount of communication and exchange of information. Project managers increasingly find their time taken up by facilitating this exchange of information. Understanding how people process and interact with information is an important function of the project manager's duty. Andreas Phelps conducted an ethnographic study of several large healthcare construction projects focusing on the interaction of project team members and how they shared information. He notes that because of the increase in information available in construction projects, there are important skills and competencies project managers must acquire that are not traditionally part of the project manager's repertoire. These include social awareness and emotional intelligence, expectation management, and an appropriate depth of technical knowledge. He notes that trust is a key aspect of effective information flow. When people do not trust the person giving them information, they typically ignore or invalidate that information. On the other hand, Chang, Yu, and Lamb conducted a study of how trust and communication correlate with project performance. They found that effective communication was the basis for trust and proposed that efficient information flow management could overcome a lack of trust between project team members. Now for the methodology that I used in my research. In order to identify the key components of communication and construction management, a comprehensive review of existing literature on communication and construction was conducted. The online research database ResearchGate and the LSU Library database were searched for existing documents using the following search terms: information management framework, information management model, construction communication, and information flow management. 30 works were selected, and coding was used as a qualitative analysis method to analyze the research in order to identify the key components of affecting informal communication in construction projects. Then the IDFO method was used to model how these factors are related. IDFO was originally developed by the U.S. Air Force to model manufacturing processes. In 2004, however, Naran proposed using IDFO to identify the relationships between information management processes. He described the IDFO as a process or activity-oriented modeling tool that represents the functional framework of a system. It consists of 5 components. The first is process or activity. These can be linked to other processes or activities. Second is inputs. These are resources consumed or transformed by the process. Number 3 are outputs, things that are created by the processes. Number 4 are constraints or control on processes or activities. These are things guiding the processes, such as policies, guidelines, standards, and laws. And the 5th are mechanisms or resources. These are agents that accomplish the activities or actions in the process. It is the hope that by identifying key components of informal communication, future research can be conducted to better understand the communication process. Through the course of the literature review and coding, 25 key components affecting informal communication in construction projects were identified and categorized under the IDFO component. The first IDFO component is activity. It includes identification, determining what information is needed for each activity, procurement, obtaining the information needed, interpretation, analysis of information, storage, retaining information for future use through record keeping or memory, retrieval, recalling previously obtained data, processing, using the information, sharing, communicating information to others. The second components that I recognized are constraints, things guiding the process such as policies, guidelines, standards, and laws. They include ambiguity, uncertainty or inexactness of meaning. This can be due to inexperience or to avoid responsibility. The amount of information. Information overload can hinder effective communication. This is also known as scalability. Trust. Belief that someone is reliable, good, and honest. Corporate culture. The beliefs and behaviors that determine how a company's employees interact with each other and outside participants. Legal requirements. Compliance with organization, contractual, and legal regulations. And then there's organizational structure. This defines hierarchy of the organization and responsibilities of each member. The third components are resources. These are agents that accomplish the action or activities in the process. They are interpersonal skills, the skills a person uses to communicate and interact with others, expertise, the knowledge and experience of participants, the facilitator. This is a person who creates an environment for effective communication. The fourth communication component are the inputs. These are used or transformed by the process. They are accuracy. This is the validity of the information. Scope. This is the purpose of the information. Timing. The timeliness of the information provided. Content. The completeness of the information provided. Relevance. The information is relevant to the matter at hand. And then the fifth and last component are the outputs. These are things created by the process. They are direction, the ability of the manager to provide instruction, decisions, the ability of the manager to make decisions about the project, performance, accomplishment of the given task with accuracy, and then collective knowledge. This is the shared knowledge of project participants. Next, we will look at our IDFO model to see how these components are related to each other. At the center of the model is activity. These are the processes that construction managers perform with the information. They are affected by resources, the inputs, and the constraints. The outputs are the results of these processes. You can see how the inputs flow into the activity. The activities are then affected by both the resources and the constraints, and out of the activities come the outputs. These are the results of the activities. Research and construction management communication has thus far focused mainly on the technological factors such as building information modeling and other methods of formal information management. However, as this report has shown, informal information, verbal communication face-to-face or by electronic means is an integral part of project success. It comprises almost half the information relayed during a project and is therefore worthy of future study. 25 key components of informal information were identified and defined based on a review of existing construction management literature. It is hoped that by identifying the components involved in communication in construction projects, more in-depth research can be conducted to better understand this important aspect of construction management. This is the conclusion of this presentation. Thank you for your time. Please feel free to email me with any questions.